Warning, if you watch Hitcher in the Dark, you'll never look at a Winnebago the same way again. A serial killer stalks the open road in a Winnebago. Okay, so not the most intimidating form of transport, but you gotta make do. Anyway, the killer, Mark, targets young female hitchhikers, but he may have met his match when he picks up tough and resourceful Daniela, played by Josie Bassett. Hitcher in the Dark was co-written and directed by prolific Italian sleazemeister Umberto Lenzi. However, he goes by the pseudonym of Humphrey Humbert here, because I guess the distributors of the film wanted it to sound more American. I mean, after all, the name Humphrey Humbert is about as American as apple pie. When it comes to Hitcher in the Dark, Lenzi throws his entire bag of tricks at you. Sleazy, sex-driven killer? Check. Loads of gratuitous TNA? Check. Ludicrous dialogue? Check. Lapses in logic? Check and check. Joe Below imbues the character of Mark with moments of mannequin-like restraint offset by explosions of unbridled hissy fits. Mark gets his jollies by picking up beautiful young hitchhikers. On a side note, where are all these beautiful young hitchhikers? Because I ain't seeing them. The only hitchhikers I've ever spotted out thumbing for a ride have looked dubious. Anyway, Mark offers the young ladies a can of Coke, which is laced with a drug so powerful it renders them unconscious within seconds. From there, Mark gets to slashing, and to commemorate the encounter, he takes Polaroids of his victim's nude corpse. Some people collect butterflies, others sew quilts. Mark is an amateur photographer. This was supposed to be Daniela's fate too, but Daniela reminds Mark of a past love, and now she's in real trouble. Hitcher in the Dark was Josie Bassett's big screen debut, and of all the horrible things that she's subjected to in this film, the worst of the worst has to be the awful wig she's forced to wear through most of the movie. Bassett delivers a pretty good performance here, but honestly, I'm surprised she didn't give up on the acting profession after making this movie, because she goes through a lot. Again and again, Daniela tries to gain Mark's trust and almost does so. Then Mark snaps, slaps her around, and drugs her. If she's not drugged to the point of unconsciousness and tied to the bed, she's running free after having escaped from Mark, only to be caught by him, redrugged, and returned to her confines. As a matter of fact, Daniela escapes from Mark's clutches at least 3 or 4 times, only to end up right back where she started. To say it gets a bit tedious is an understatement. Mark is apparently really bad at tying knots. Clearly, he was not a Boy Scout. But while Daniela is good at escaping from his restraints, she's absolutely awful at running away, hiding, calling for help, or locating a weapon to defend herself. Mark always finds her, so instead of the Boy Scouts as a kid, I'm assuming he must have been the neighborhood hide-and-seek champ. While we're running in circles with Daniela and Mark, Daniela's boyfriend is in hot pursuit. At one point, the boyfriend breaks into an RV that looks similar to Mark's, but isn't Mark's. A humorous encounter with the RV's owner ensues. Eventually, through a series of circumstances that would never happen in reality, Daniela's boyfriend discovers Mark's RV, and he's about as much of a hero as somebody who's not very heroic at all, which makes all the time we've spent with him in search of Daniela seem like a big old waste of time. Hitcher in the Dark was produced by another infamous Italian filmmaker, Joe D'Amato, the man behind Beyond the Darkness and Anthropophagus. Hitcher in the Dark has some pretty interesting moments. Mark's backstory is explored just enough and gives us just enough of an idea of why he's been able to get away with what he's been doing for as long as he has. There's even a really cool scene toward the end of the film that takes place in Mark's father's office. High up from the window of his father's office, Mark spots a young woman hitchhiking down on the corner and gets the itch to return to the road. Instead of basking in power and wealth, Mark would rather be out on the road, like the Jack Kerouac of serial killers. This would have made for a pretty decent finale. But then we get the actual finale, which is really dumb. Hitcher in the Dark has some interesting moments. Josie Bassett is a trooper, and it's plenty sleazy. At one point, we're privy to a wet t-shirt contest because your guess is as good as mine. But the movie runs out of gas pretty quick and feels much longer than its 96-minute runtime. I'm on the fence about recommending Hitcher in the Dark. It's definitely not going to be everyone's cup of tea, but if you're in the mood for a sleazy, at times nonsensical thriller and have plenty of patience, catch a ride with Hitcher in the Dark. But bring your own beverages. As for this Blu-ray release from Vinegar Syndrome, this release is newly scanned and restored in 4K from its 35mm original camera negative. I thought the picture quality and the sound quality on this release were both absolutely fantastic. The picture quality was crisp, it was clean, there was a nice level of detail. I'd give the overall picture quality a solid 4 out of 5. Same thing with the audio quality. I'd give it a solid 4 out of 5 as well. Hitcher in the Dark both looked and sounded great on this release from Vinegar Syndrome. As far as extras are concerned, first up we get an archival interview with writer and director Umberto Lenzi. It's 10 minutes and 20 seconds in length. Mr. Lenzi discusses wanting to give all the antagonists in his serial killer films a human element to provide them greater depth. He discusses casting Hitcher in the Dark and why he selected Joe Below to play Mark, and screen testing Josie Bissett. He discusses his displeasure with the film's finale, which he was forced to shoot and include in the film, and more. We get the original theatrical trailer, and we get a commentary track with film historians and authors Sam Deegan and Kat Ellinger. Overall, this is a really solid Blu-ray release for Hitcher in the Dark from the fine folks over at Vinegar Syndrome. Both the picture quality and the sound quality are fantastic. We get a really nice archival interview with Umberto Lenzi and a brand new audio commentary to boot. If you're a fan of Hitcher in the Dark, then this release is an absolute no-brainer. I'll post a link to Vinegar Syndrome's website down in the description. Go over and check them out. If you've seen Hitcher in the Dark, please let me know your thoughts on the film down in the comments section below. Let me know what your favorite Umberto Lenzi film is down in the comments section below also. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Take care, and until next time, peace. A huge shout out to all my patrons and channel members. I appreciate your generosity and support of my channel. Become a patron today and join me for exclusive live streams, get early access to videos, and have a say in what movies I review on my channel. Become a channel member and get access to exclusive badges and emotes to use when I stream. Links are in the description. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.